Hi, my name is Rabbi Dunner. Welcome to my weekly Erev Shabbos Dvar Torah. This Shabbos we will read Parshat Yitro, which contains the most important encounter of the entire Torah. That is, the encounter between God and the entire Jewish nation, just recently been redeemed from Egypt. On that day, every Jew became a prophet. Every Jew heard God speaking to them. It was the formative moment of the Jewish faith, just as the Exodus was the formative moment for the Jewish nation. Now, what exactly did God communicate with us on that day? You know the answer. He chose to share 10 particular mitzvot with us. And these 10 mitzvot, the Aseret HaDibrot, form the core, the essence of what it means to be a Jew. Well, what are these commandments? It's important to know, because clearly they represent the core values, the core expectations of Judaism. These 10 commandments are not the little stuff, they are the important stuff. So it makes sense that we have believing in one creator God at the top of the list. Also, no idol worship, no blasphemy. All of that makes perfect sense. Then we have honor your parents. That's a core value, because how can you have a relationship with your parent in heaven if you don't understand that you must respect your parents on earth? The next one is observe Shabbat, because Shabbat represents creation, reminding us that God created the physical world, the whole universe. That makes sense too. Then we have don't murder, no adultery, don't steal. Of course, these are fundamental values of morality. But what about the last commandment? Lo tachmod eshet re'echa. Don't covet your neighbour's wife. Don't covet his house. Don't covet his field. Don't covet his possessions. One second. What? How exactly does that fit in here? How did this little Liga make it into the World Series? Envy. Okay, it's not the nicest character trait, but it doesn't do anyone any harm. How does don't envy your neighbour belong in the 10 commandments? It makes no sense. Good question, right? And I have another question for you. Unrelated, but also from this week's Parsha. Yitro, Moshe's father-in-law, comes along and sees that his son-in-law is judge and jury day and night for every dispute happening among the Jews that he leads. So he comes up with a good idea to relieve the pressure for Moshe. He recommends delegating the duties of judging out to lower courts and intermediate courts, and that only major cases should be brought to Moshe. He suggests that Moshe be treated like the Supreme Court. He tells Moshe that what he is doing right now is totally dysfunctional, and concludes his advice by saying as follows: Im et hadavar hazeh ta'aseh v'yachalta amod v'gam kol ha'am hazeh al mekomo yavo v'shalom. If you do this thing, if you follow my suggestion, then you will endure, and the entire nation will arrive at their place in peace. The question I have for you is this: why would each person return to his home in peace? Why el mekomo b'shalom? Why doesn't it say that the Jewish people will live in peace, in tranquility, with every dispute settled, and harmony re-established, restored? What's it got to do with going to your own home? Strange, no? Let me tell you a story. When I was in yeshiva in Jerusalem, my Rosh Yeshiva was Rabbi Chaim Kreiswirth, who was also the Rav of Antwerp in Belgium. That's another story for another time. Anyway, Rav Kreiswirth was an extraordinary Talmud Chacham and a marvellous public speaker. Very dramatic. One time, he spoke in the yeshiva and addressed this exact question. And he told us the following story, something that had happened to him in his rabbinic position in Antwerp, and he wanted to illustrate his answer. A member of his kehillah, his community, came in to see him, and he was obviously quite upset. Rabbi, he said, I just don't understand. My friend Yankel and I began a similar business to each other about a year ago. He's doing incredibly well, and my business is not doing that well. Well, are you working as hard as he is? Rabbi Kreiswirth asked. Of course, the fellow said. My place is right down the block from his, and I never close my store until I see his car pulling away. I work longer hours than he does, and he's still doing better than me. Perhaps he has more employees, Rabbi Kreiswirth said. No, that can't be, the guy replied. I checked with his manager and have recently added 2 more employees than he has. But he's still doing better than me. So perhaps the decor of his store is more attractive for customers, Rabbi Kreiswirth suggested. No, not at all. He remodeled his store last year and I checked out the lighting in his store, and the square footage, the display cases, and in every area my store is better than his. But he's still doing better than me. I just can't understand it. At this point, Rabbi Kreiswirth smiled. I think I have it all figured out, he said. I know exactly why your uncle is doing better than you. It's because he's only concerned with running one business, his own. You, my dear friend, are running 2 businesses, his and yours. If you would just stay in your own place and worry about your own place, you will also be successful. You see, the 10 Commandments were the blueprint for a successful relationship with God. But you could have a situation where someone believes in God, doesn't worship idols, never blasphemes, honors his parents, keeps Shabbos, doesn't kill, doesn't commit adultery, doesn't steal. And the guy next door, not as diligent as him, but he's got a nicer wife and a nicer house and a nicer field and a nicer car. So God tells us, don't look at what someone else has. Don't run 2 businesses. If you run 2 businesses, your own business will fail and the other guy will do better. And that was exactly Yisro's message to Moshe. If every dispute between 2 Jews has to be delayed until it is resolved, no Jew will ever be focused on his own responsibilities because they'll be consumed for all that waiting time thinking about the money that the other guy stole from them or the money they owe him or whatever. Only if matters are settled and quickly and he can go home in peace, focus on his own business, be calm, have a free head, that is when God will get his attention. Dispense justice efficiently, said Yisro, because the main purpose of our chosenness is to focus on our relationship with God. You and me, we need to let go of all the distractions, or if they exist and we can't avoid them, deal with them quickly. Don't let them fester. Every distraction reduces our ability to have the type of relationship with God that will see our spirituality grow. And that was why God chose us. That is why God chose you. Let me wish you Shabbat Shalom and Chodesh Tov for the upcoming month of Adar. Good Shabbos, good Shabbos.